Bring it.
Bring it. Okay, here we go. Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central. It's Friday night, October the 19th, and I'm with Lisa Flamino, Russia, BZ Rieger, and it's been quite an evening already before we even hit record. So
Live from the moment of now. It's Friday night. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love it though. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm gonna fly off right up all of a sudden. Okay.
So if y'all were thinking about a sedate evening, turn us off.
Yeah, forget it.
Because you're getting bigger and bigger.
Yes. The energetics beginning, actually they started last night for me. We were kind of having this conversation before BZ sent an email, and I immediately went boof. The sleepy train took me. I didn't even really, I read it, I looked at it, I didn't even get into it really good, and I mean it was just over until 3 a.m. So, and then ever since I got up this morning, it has been just full on, just rushing energetics, and the moving trucks have been off and on. And it's almost as though I've been feeling a pressure moving up.
Yeah.
But at any rate, lots of energetics today. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about here, even though we got all silly and stuff before.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I think it's actually quite funny. There's actually everything.
I know my giddiness keeps showing.
I know. Well, it's also cosmically delicious. All the irony that I keep seeing everywhere is just so funny to me a lot. So there's that. But anyway, BZ, you sent us one of your nudges to talk about, and it's okay if I just read it out, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything X-rated in there.
Oh, like
wait, there is one big X in there, yeah.
I know. I'm like, really? Because I'm looking at an X.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, is there some issue? What about me makes you think that would stop me? As far as I know.
Okay, now people actually want to hear this. There's an X in there.
I told you, I'm the one that created all becomes transparent now. Hashtag all becomes transparent now. I see now why I did that. Okay, so BZ sent us a nudge that she had to talk about, and I love this because it's a big one for me. It's part of the reason I've been being pushed to do my blog. If so much is happening, why hasn't X been arrested yet? Because nothing is happening. This isn't just some fraud, some elite satanic thing. It's all connected. And each being who lets go of this frequency speeds us on our way. I submit that there's a whole crap ton of stuff going on. And it's visible all over the place, but it's almost, for me, part of it is holding a focus, a soft focus, number one, and not being caught up on things, looking and feeling and being a particular specific way. And also, like there's so many things that point to, for me, folks like Lindsey Graham and his little speeches.
Away, man. He's having a ball at it.
His speeches that he has put out recently, I'm telling you, this is not the feller I knew of before.
He's free. That's why.
Excuse me?
He's free now, and that's why. He's been freed from the thumb and rule he was under and all of the discordance in his own heart and his own knowing, and yeah.
Well, I submit that is a part of it. Yes. There are others, however, and because this is something that came to my knowing or my feeling about this when that happened, when I started seeing that. And it was actually before Magenta Pixie put out her latest video, which I concur with. I think there's also a shit ton of plea deals going on.
That's what I mean. It's a combination. That's why I said he's pleading his deal, right? And in doing that, so on the one hand, you could say, well, he was a right bastard and did all these things, and he should have been a no-brainer for him to take the plea deal and be told to then go out and sell what he was supposed to sell. And part of the awakening of the whole public, yes, okay. But what I'm saying is in doing that, because, and this is actually a great point on what this whole conversation is about, is that it isn't just about being a right rat bastard and hang the bastards and, you know, pitchfork them and all that kind of stuff because of one incident or one mass collection of atrocities or this and anything. It's about everything wholesale, the entire enchilada, anything that you encompass in that. Just bring your arms a couple multiverses wider and you might start to encompass of exactly what is going on and exactly what is changing. And so in him in particular doing that, coming to that choice point, and talk about, you know, a galactic size choosing, right?
Right.
Watch him. He's not acting. He's not sweating. He's not. He has changed. His being has changed because that cognitive dissonance, that you know, major push me, pull me, you interrupt this in his whole every fiber of his being has been lifted. That's what I mean. He's freed from that. He's freed from that terrible push me, pull you. You know, you've heard of centrifugal force and a G force. If you've seen movies, people flying a plane, there stuff comes back. Well, that's what these beings are all going through because it's not their natural state to go as far out as they have and do what they have. They may still choose it, but it's not the natural. So when they come to that choice point, however it was put in front of them to do that choice point, and they make a choice that is expansive, and they make a choice that is heart opening, and they make a choice to polarize in the service to others frequency, it's, you know, well, you can see it. Just turn and look at a clip of him and you can see the difference.
Yes. And so I think there's a lot of that happening, and we'll see more and more of that kind of thing. But see, that's not good enough for some. I realize that. That's why, you know, one of the things you have here is why isn't X been arrested and things like that. Well, and a lot of it has to do with divine timing too, I feel.
Right. And I want us to step back for a moment just on that point you bring up is, you know, that's not good enough for some. Well, this isn't about good enough for a certain person or perspective, because those are all linear perspectives. And that ship sailed, baby. It's gone. It's done. It doesn't matter anymore. It's totally irrelevant. It's not even on the game board. And because it's not about nailing someone's ass to the wall. It's not about sending someone or many someones up the river or to the chair or any other euphemisms or specific things that you... It's not about that. No. And you know what? From my perspective, thank God, because I don't want to live in a world where it's about that anymore. That's just so boring and so treacherous and so devastatingly exhausting that... Well,
it's also... For me, it's also, okay, so this has come up a lot actually in my field, because what just came up with for me in this is that still a tit for tat society right there. And that's a harvesting. Sorry, let's look at it for what it is, okay? Let's do. And okay. Yeah, something big came in with this one for me. Because this one might be hard for some to hear. That's why that came in like that. Okay, so I want to make sure I don't. There's a lot, there feels still a lot of, well, they just say that because they want people to forgive and and let them get off scot-free, and that can't be, and all that sort of thing. And I suggest for me there's a lot in that. That's a frequential match. I don't want to match. Thank you.
Right.
I don't want that drawn into my field. So in my playground, that cannot exist any further. And I don't think it does, period, anyway.
Well, I'll dance with that for a moment.
Okay.
I don't want it in my playground, but I'll dance with it for a moment.
Oh, I see. I don't even like to dance with it for a moment.
Yeah, I will. I'm happy to dance with it. So, again, that's a linear perspective to hold. And it's what is occurring, and the true justice, because I'll be real linear and real frank. We have never had any kind of justice on this planet.
No.
Never. Okay?
Nope.
So, but the true justice and the true balancing and accounting of the energetic frequencies and the balance that needs to come will absolutely occur. But that's not for anybody's pay grade on, to use a linear euphemism, on this planet or many other planets in the multiverses. So it will be dealt with, it will be taken care of. And the depth and breadth to that balancing, to that scale, and to the, again, these are not at all accurate because they're linear words which hold judgment and punitiveness to them. But the reckoning that will be involved with that is total and complete.
Yeah.
So, but if we hold something in that, well, she, they are just talking about it because they want, all fluffy bunnies and nice and get, it hasn't to do anything like that. I hold it that way because I have a knowing of that accounting and how that will occur, and how all encompassing and comprehensive that is. And actually, on each soul level, what a challenge that is, again, to put linear words on it. Right. Number one. Number two, that to be stuck in a linear, punitive, judgmental, well, they should be drawn and quartered and this kind of thing, is an energetic frequency that is of the same energetic frequency that they held and reveled in. That's something I have no desire to play in, and it does a huge disservice. That's not even the accurate way to describe it. It's a vile thing to do to oneself to wish that, because when you wish that, you actually are immersed in playing in that frequency and clearly are not understanding what you're playing with and what you were sowing and then going to be swimming in yourself. So if for no other reason, there's a whole other reasons, but if for no other reason, that would be a reason for me not to want that, because I wouldn't want someone to build the pool, fill up the pool, and then go dive in the pool and flounder in that pool of energies. because they're wishing, you know, something on somebody else. And then at the same time, they're thinking, well, those are just fluffy bunny people. And, you know, that's not fair that to let them get off scot-free, because there's no Scots getting off free. God ain't getting off free at all.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And some Scots will be so again, coming this very linear when people are holding this, so they need to be put to death. Okay, well, we don't die, so that's kind of a really dumb linear punishment, right? Okay,
yeah,
right. But
yeah.
even if you think that was the case, well, since it's above our pay grade, they will be, you could say, beyond that, because they actually will be recycled back into pure energy, and then be a spark of creation again, because all that they were before is gone for eternity. That makes sense. So some instances that will be the case. And you don't need, you know, military tribunals to decide that, because they don't have the pay grade to do that anyways. So it's much more, it's actually simple, but it's much more complex, not complicated, but complex than people are looking at. And every time we look at those things and go down an avenue and play with that thought, that vehemence, that fire behind the God of these fucking people, right? We are doing something to ourselves. You know, people think that you're pointing the finger. No, you're doing it right here to you. And the energy that you carry of that has huge ramifications for the you that is doing it. And that's the urgency that I had for playing with this particular focus tonight, because there's a lot of that going around. And it's not a pool people are going to want to be swimming in.
Well, again, this is another thing that a lot of folks can poo-poo if they want to, but in these particular energetics, in particular, all relationships are up for review, including your relationship with you. And when you and for me, just like what you said there, BZ, that's a frequential match. I don't want to be pulling into my field that kind of there's a lot of what feels like vengeful energy. Mm-hmm. That, you know, like you said, it's a punitive thing that is out there, like they can't get away or whatever. We got to get rid of them. It's got to, you know, and of course there's always the whole it's broken thing, which it's not broken. It's all working exactly as it was designed to work. That's the other thing. But because I don't have that direct knowing like you do, BZ, that there's a reckoning. Okay, I don't have that, but I don't need that for myself. All I need to realize is that's an energetic frequency, that vengefulness, that need to see someone punished because of their actions or whatever. I know, and that's something I know about myself for a fact, that I've never been that way. I've had all kinds of crap done to me, and I would never wish anyone any harm in any way, shape, or form, including all of those who have harmed me. Because it's just not something I want to swim in particularly. So for me, exactly that part that you were talking about having that energy that a person does, they can think they're not swimming in that all they want to. But I submit that, especially again in these energetics, Venus is in retrograde, every single thing is up for review that you have a relationship with, including your own energetics.
Well, they literally are swimming in it. I'm going to say it literally, because what happens to your hormonal systems, and it does become a physical juice, a milieu, if you will, that you are bathing your cells in. So it really is swimming in a pool that you don't want to be
in.
in.
A very linear, yeah, absolutely, Lisa. And a very linear way you can check that is how many moments in an hour do you go check Facebook or Twitter about something to what, what's come out, or the vile bastards, this, that, and the other thing. That's an energy frequency, a stream. It's a stream. Think of a ray gun stream. You want to take the ray gun and shoot them. Okay, but that's what you're swimming in. And it becomes its own addiction. And it becomes that stream that you swim in, and can be, it can turn on you, and you can then turn it. How do you think a lot of these beings that you're pointing your finger at got to be where you're pointing your finger at them? It's exactly what I'm just talking about. Some of them, did not so good choosing. Some were, just completely out to lunch and didn't know they were claimingly choosing and did it. And some were set up, right? Some were blacklisted. So it doesn't matter. There's a whole other thing. And then once they were there, they kept doing it, because even if you're blackmailed, well, you can still go out and say, I was blackmailed, or I did this, or whatever, and at least you've made that choice. You may get offed, but that's okay. That's a choice as well. So it's much more complex than people think. But I did want to step back for a moment to look at the bigger picture. So it's not about bringing, it's so interesting right now. Yes, there are beings with labels of Democrat right now that are high on the list of rat bastardness and evilness. Okay, cool. But there's an awful lot of beings with labels of Republican that are the same. There's beings with labels of female that are the same.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, in the rat bastardness, the black widow spiderness of a lot of those beings, I said there's actually one who's an incredible black widowy spidery creature who's sitting on the Supreme Court right this moment. So and these are all household names. So you can look in every, we've talked about this for a long time, you can look in every sector, every system, every social strata, every country. So that's all there. And it's not about the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, just individual things. That's part of it, yes. But that's not what the whole, if you were putting, okay, let's talk linear for a minute. If you were putting together a case, and so you have to have an indictment, well, we got a bunch of those, and you have to have evidence, well, sort of, and you do these things, and so you present the case, and then you supposedly have justice. You either kill them or you don't, or they get away or you don't. Okay, well, those are all contrived and perceived illusions anyways. But even if you went with that, it's not just about those particular isolated things and the laundry list of infractions of the simple fraudulent sort, all the way up to the purely absoluteness of evil in it. Mm-hmm. Because what it's really about is everything changing, the entire illusion changing, from the garbage trucks all the way up to every system, every political system, every educational system, every health, everything. It's about them all changing. It's about an entire way of being changing. It's about an entire way that beings on this planet socialize and connect and create things. So all of that is changing and changing very, very rapidly. And everything is changing because it's all done. It's all completed. And what everybody is seeing now is the unwinding and unbinding of all of it. And it's an inside job. So what do you got? 6.5 billion people on the planet. So that's 6.5 billion inside jobs just on the surface population, right?
Yeah.
So think of your own being and the different things that you've been going through, and you could magnify it or lessen it in different areas. And so that's a lot of chaos. That's a lot of, what does it call it? The molecules getting excited. And as they get excited, right, about the rat bastards or whatever it is, they're shaking off. These are like centrifugal forces, and they're shaking off all of the lower, denser, discordant energy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I got a visual with that last one when you were shaking and you said rat bastards. I saw rat bastards.
Yeah, rats are flying everywhere.
I'm sorry. It was just so funny. This visual I got in my head when you said that. It was just you. I'm sorry.
The little whiskers getting hung up in the wiring and everything. But that's what's truly occurring. And that's just scratching the surface of it. At the same time, the 6+ billion or so just on the surface, being very linear, so just on the surface of this planet, from the inside out, every part of their body, their physical body, their whole physiology, their mental bodies, their emotional bodies, their electromagnetic bodies, their auric fields, whether you know you got an auric field or not, you got one, and even mainstream science has proven it, so go do some research, right? All of those are completely changing, the total wholesale change of each of that. But wait, there's more. So
you're killing me. I'm sorry, you're killing me.
So not only is that occurring, but, and this may be quite a shock and surprise to a lot of people, but you don't just take up the space, and me for myself take up quite a lot of space in this chair, but you don't just take up the space in this chair. This is not where I am busy ends, right? So all of the rest that is me, that is the same exact energy frequency signature, which is larger than planet-sized. And we have lots of linear labels for it. Higher selves, guides, soul, all that kind of stuff. Okay, the whole enchilada, everything you just named, and a couple of 100 million other names that people have from, right? All coming in, which is back to this displacing the stuff that is not a match. Displacing the stuff
is it ever
not of love is going out. So there's more. So that's just a tiny partial picture to paint of what's really going on. And so if you want to have in your fantasy of, well, they'll lose everything. Okay, yeah, they will. Everything will change. But in fact, you could also say that we'll all lose everything. Everything that we may hold on to and be grasping to, that golden ring, that, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, all of those things that we've been taught to idolize, to think was the cat's meow, to think that was the gold, the golden brick road and that path to nirvana. it's all an illusion. But that's okay, because the real truth makes that other stuff look like slum city path to nirvana. So that's what's changing. And when we can even play with, not know or think or own or any of this kind of stuff, but just play with that as a potentiality, then we can see from a linear perspective that when an article drops, or you're actually not even going to see an article, when you get it direct from, the Department of Justice site, where I've been putting some on the IV, where something has gone out, and someone has now had an indictment, someone has been arrested, charges are brought, right? Okay. And when you look at it, for an example, some of these, I've been publishing a lot lately, and there's other places to go look, but I'm just going to call these up, were about China, and that they've been selling secrets and stuff. So again, look at some people notice it right away. Some people don't understand, well, what's the big deal about China? Well, hello, because it's, part of the whole outer strings of the whole big ball of wax. It's also a way, from a linear way, to trace it back to all the players that were in the United States and other countries that were the elites, so that there can be direct lines, and then to unravel it. Why? Because go back to the bigger picture, just on the surface of the planet linear level that I talked about, you have 6.5 billion-esque people that need to be awakening from a linear aspect, because they're already being awakened from an inside job, to what's been going on. So this is how you paint all of that.
Yeah.
And again, from a linear perspective, if you see, one fish, so one X fish gets charged with something, why haven't they been arrested? Why is Brennan still out there? Why is Soros up? Because actually all the strings, because it is linear, and because you have a lot of those 6.5 billion-ish people who have not been paying attention, and who have been asleep, and who have been deep in the miasma of the programming. And when they keep coming to choosing every 20 nanoseconds, right? They keep choosing, the Ferrari and the pot of gold and yellow brick road and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You need to put all those pieces together so that it can all crumble down, because it's all of a piece. You take one piece out. Haven't anybody ever read a really good murder mystery, or a good sleuth thing, and that, or good logistics and strategic operations, whether it's business or psyops or stealth or weaponry or warfare, whatever it is. And there's great value and leverage and quantum jump expansion, as far as, the gets that you're getting in and sweeping into your big crate that you're going to take them off to the paddy wagon. Okay, boy, I'm mixing metaphors, but that's okay. Go with it, right? So to wait and pull those things together, because then you have irrefutable. Because then it's like there was a home renovating show, and they had a Fix It or something, a couple, the show in Texas, and they would take a picture of the old house, and they would blow it up to a house-sized picture on the scaffolding. And when the couple came, or the single family, whoever it was, came to see their house, they had this photograph of the old house the way it was. And they're like, okay, we've been waiting all this time and paying all this money, and that's it, right? And then they reveal and they pull it aside. Well, that's actually I think it's called Fix It. And that's a really good metaphor, because, those who are saying, well, nothing's happening, or, and some actually say that and believe it and really think it. And some are saying, well, so-and-so didn't get arrested. Well, because you have this, and then that is going to be pulled aside and you're going to see all of the stuff. And I can guarantee a lot of people are going to be disappointed, frustrated, pissed off because they didn't get to see the different things because it's already complete. A lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it will be. You know, so you pull that thing aside and, you know, well, at least one is already gone. I think there's more, but that's one household name that's not only left the planet, my guesses may have even left existence. Anyways, so that's...
Is this a new one?
Well, maybe he has. Maybe that was my bring. He does left existence. I don't know. But yeah, just recently. Anyways.
Who?
No name.
Oh, okay. Oh, that one. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not a new one. That's an older one. But
well, see, that's another. Well, yeah, okay. That's yeah. That's
so.
old for me.
Anyways, that's what I got in with the download. It was important to look at that, and you know, there will absolutely be a balancing and a reckoning, and it will be nothing like planet Earth or the U.S. system or linear justice, because that's just a joke. But it will be righteous justice from the pure, clean, absolute 0 point energy frequency of it.
Yeah, I feel that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a way, though, that I feel like there is a way to, or at least I feel I've managed it to remain within my frequential neighborhood and see these but see, I'm very accustomed to looking at things as metaphor all over the place anyway, first of all. And secondly, it's like there's very subtle things that get announced or come out or that almost seem, well, why is that, you know, on one level, but for me, I can see and sometimes that's why I was saying I feel that I don't know, there's disparate, if you will, puzzle pieces that I've seen that I can see that there is movement, even though folks think there might not be or whatever. There is movement, and there are all kinds of little clues. I feel like a lot of times I feel like Nancy Drew up over in here. You know, it's like that's a clue. Not sure why, but that's a clue. There's something there. Like I'm telling you right now, there's something about Ohio too.
Yeah.
So,
and there's so many clues that you know, as far as publishing the IUV, right now I have like 40 or more tabs open. There's so many clues that I got to throw a lot of them out because, well, first of all, the RSS feed for email would be like, you know, this long. And there's just too much to read. So I just keep sorting and sifting in bigger clues. Or I've even been having the discussion in, you know, with my co-publisher here about just, you know, could be doing a list of links and stuff. But I think that I still feel it's best to pull a few things because, again, from the beginning when I started the IUV, it is that 0 point balance. It's that dance between the linear, because that was part of our experience, right? And the more expansiveness, and that dance to bring through. So the, you know, arresting the rat bastards and expanding and being 100% committed to your soul are on a shallow level are absolutely essential components that need to go hand in hand in a balance, right? And then you get more refined on that, and you see that, because that's what we're going to, is the balance. It doesn't mean fluffy bunnies and sitting there and never thinking about things that are upsetting, or never. That's, you know, the people who do that are going to have as much trouble, because they're swimming in, it's the same frequency. It's a you know, it has the frequency has a very similar, slightly different coloring, but a different similar ramifications as those swimming in the, you know, in the vengeful thing, because that's not integration, because that's not 0 point, because that's not a balance, and that's not where you're going to get all of you imploding into you, where you can stand completely in your kick-ass creator being.
No, exactly correct. I agree. Wow.
That's where I want to be. Just standing firmly in my kick-ass creator beingness.
Well,
the only thing that has any draw right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
For some reason, this just came in for me. I've been holding this a bit differently, I think.
Okay.
We've always been kick-ass creator beings. We just didn't know it.
Yeah.
And the only ass I was kicking prior was my own. I was defeating myself every turn. But now I want to embrace that in a different way. So we've always been, because I remember when we all gathered here in July of 2016, sitting right out here on this front porch, all of us sitting out here together, and these words came out of my mouth. I think we're all creator beings in training. That's what I said to you, but I was incorrect. I knew we were creator beings, but it's not training. It's okay. Maybe it is a form of training that to become more conscious in the way that I create, rather than a willy-nilly and all wonky-fied because I'm half-ass asleep or scared or, you know, not in my heart and things are coming out all discombobulated. But yeah, so I don't know where that came from or why I felt the need to say that. Sorry.
So for me, I would end by saying, you know, real linear with a little New Yorker thrown in. A lot of shit's happening. The size of the fans that they need for all the shit that's hitting the fan are major galaxy sizes right now. And the entire scope of the landscape in which you perceive your day-to-day life is completely changed. And it is more cosmically delicious, more joyful, more exciting, more effervescent, more ecstatic, more kick-ass, more thrilling, just to put a pale description on it, than you could possibly have ever conceived of imagining or envisioning.
Well, it has been for me the last little bit. I mean, you know, there's you know, times, but in every moment that I continue to move towards that which brings me joy, that which makes my heart sing, that which I desire, it's delicious. Wow. Well, is there anything else that either one of you would like to add to this energetic envelope before we close it?
Not for me.
All right. Awesome. Well, there will be, of course, ways to get a hold of everyone in the show more section of this video. I added information about love donations in there. My email address is in there. And of course, there's like and subscribe, if you will, if you feel so led. And so until next time.